Om Namo Narayana. Welcome back, everyone. Hello again. Today is an episode on the news and society and religion, and something that I saw this morning that made me go, "Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my God." I saw something in the news before I went to work today, and it literally made me say that. I was just like, "Oh my God." It hit two pet peeves of mine. One is people hiding behind religion when they should be acting like responsible adults. And what's worse is it's a government entity. The second problem is the proliferation of New Age spirituality stuff in society. Or at least, well, yeah, that's all I'll say for now. I want to read this news article to you. Some of you may find this very interesting. It's something here in my state of Maine. And yeah, I had to share. I had to share. That's it. I just had to come in and share it with a bunch of you who also agree with me, because I read your comments, that the world is going bonkers very, very slowly. But before we do, two things. One, camera. Hopefully, the quality on this looks way better than you've seen me in a long time, or ever, I should say. Last episode, I got a new camera, and so this is the second time we are trying it out. And I hope it works, but I have two glitches. One, I can't connect directly with YouTube anymore. If I use it, I have no idea why. I have to go through an encoder program. But when I do that, I at least get cool stuff like Krishna here. So it kind of does really work out. The other problem is I know that it freezes sometimes. I saw that when I was putting the chapters in. Not a lot, not as much as the previous camera I was testing. And I also know that in the last episode, it wouldn't just freeze, which is what I'm demonstrating now. This is me, not the camera. But sometimes the this would go off and just glitch a little bit. I've tried to change this. Let me just look at my settings to make sure it's working okay. Yeah, I've tried to change this so even if the picture glitches, the voice doesn't. Because that's what you're here for, what I'm saying. You're not here to look at my good face or my good looks or whatever. Or my fairly new shirt because I'm going 1950s slowly. Everything I can find that's classic I'm buying. So bear with me if it glitches, it glitches. This is so much better than the old way I was recording, and that was just really embarrassing at times, and sometimes it didn't work at all. I think this might be one of the best cameras I can get before I get into a higher income, not a higher income bracket, but a higher level where I really have to start paying, and I just don't have the money right now to spend for like a really big expensive camera. We're buying a car next week because ours has literally died, and the repairs could eat up so much money that the repairs could equal the cost of what we paid for the car. So it's like my money's going elsewhere right now. So maybe someday. I probably will be sticking with this. You've just been warned. I know it glitches, but you know, we can bear with it. So the other thing I want to talk about briefly before we get into reading this news article is something that just happened to me, and I believe that God does sort of guide us and push us and put things our way and help us out. We may or may not always realize it, and it may only be after the fact. It might be, wow, that was a coincidence that saved me from something. And you're like, oh, I wonder if someone was looking out at me. I think that happens. And so it happened to me yesterday, and I just wanted to share this. Maybe not. Maybe this isn't God doing anything in pure coincidence, but I don't know. It just kind of added up when I looked at it. So I just want to share this little story, and then we'll get into this news article. I so essentially you can say I'm giving you something nice, and then we're going to go into something frustrating. So I'm starting a new business. My girlfriend and I just have an idea. We see a need. We see something we can do, and it would get her out of what she's doing, which is rough. And my job's okay. Um, I've been there almost 10 years, and I'm not leaving before that. Uh, but I need to get her into something better, and I'm not going to talk about what it is, because it may or may not happen, and it might be a while before it happens. But it's a business that could potentially bring us a lot of money, so maybe we could buy a house. Maybe I could have a better background. I don't know. Um, or if nothing else, it would make her happier, which would make me happier. And it's also a business that has a low startup cost, very small startup cost, and that's important to know. And I'm also very frugal. I like to maximize what I have, take advantage of what I have, and use it instead of rushing out and buying tons of stuff. For example, I have a storage facility full of lots of my stuff, and I spent 3.5 hours cleaning it on Friday, which was great because I found some things I needed and some books I didn't want, and I just it was insane. But I cleared out a space so we can buy supplies and put it in there because I'm already paying $150 for that. Why buy another storage facility when we may not even have any supplies? We might be fine. They can just stick in the back of the car. So instead of going out and spending lots of money that may or not be necessary, I'm utilizing my resources. If we LLC this, because I work in a law firm, and that's kind of one of the things we do without even blinking, we do those by the boatload. I can do it myself. I don't have to pay all the money to have someone else do it. I can save a lot of money just doing it on my own. I know how. I've got all the paperwork. So I'm really working frugal. Another thing I'm doing is I'm learning as much as I possibly can, and I've been communicating with some YouTubers, which have been awesome, and I've learned so much. Um, One YouTuber who he has a channel. He's like, look, I got nothing. I'm not selling anything. I'm just here sharing my journey. And he sits in his office and or goes out on the job with his camera and it's just really cool. He's like, all right, we're gonna stop the Dunkin' Donuts right now. And a little bit later, he's eating a donut, going, okay, now let's talk about the job. I mean, it's just really awesome. And I've communicated with him, and he's been really full of encouragement and gives great advice when I ask, and it just really, really good to have that resource. And then there's been a few other YouTubers. One though is like selling stuff. And I wasn't really sure of this YouTuber in the beginning, but I'm like, I want to learn everything, so let me just go in and watch his stuff and learn a lot. But he's doing a business which is the same field as what I'm doing, but it's completely different. And what he would do actually is a situation where my girlfriend could keep her job. And then this is just something that is automated on the side, kind of runs itself, which is not what we want. She actually wants to be doing something different, down the road. That she wants to do something different. So to have something that runs like investing in the stock market, you don't need to actively do anything. You put the money in and you just sit back and wait. That serves no purpose for her. So this guy's doing stuff that it's like, okay, it's great. But I've talked to him and he's really gun ho and he asks a lot of questions and he gives a lot of great advice. And I appreciate the advice. And I reached out to him, and here's the God part. So he's been like, oh yeah, that's great, and this is awesome, and hook up with my stuff, and here's some YouTubes and my website and whatever. And then at one point he's like, just in the past day or so, why don't you talk to my wife? She's the coach because we coach a lot of people. Give her a call. I'm like, well, thinking to myself, well, it's you that I see on YouTube, not your wife, and I don't know. We'll think about it. Suddenly, I'm online. I'm not even really looking for his stuff or whatever. I don't even know what I was looking for. When I found out that this guy basically ropes people in, asks a lot of questions, smiles a lot, and if he thinks you're the right person and you tap all the right buttons, he says, hey, do a phone call. And then he says, oh, I have a class and it costs this much. Take the class, and that'll make you a millionaire if you follow what we're doing. And it's a four-digit number. If from what I can find, that will, you know, it's a large amount to take this class to learn what you're already getting on his YouTube, but it's going to be like specially taught or something, whatever. Well, here I am being frugal. I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to have a low investment fee of literally under $1,000 to start a business. So I was kind of interested in this guy, and then all of a sudden I see that, and I'm like, whoa. Here I am, literally ready to start a business on under 1,000, which is good because we're buying a car, and we now need a little more money on hand than we did like 2 weeks ago. But yet, If I went with him, I would probably be down 3,000 versus 1,000. And I know what we're going to be making immediately, and it will take months and months and months to make a profit, and my girlfriend will be working for free for months. If we do it my way, she will immediately walk out the door with at least the money she's lost having reduced her hours to go to this new job versus literally working for free. And I'm like, whoa, okay, back up. I gotta back up. I gotta pull off the communication with this person. And I don't mind talking to him because I did get good advice. So today I was online trying to research a little more, and I couldn't find that reference again. I could see though, oh, he's doing a class, and I actually ended up emailing another way and having one of his other coaches reach out. He seemed to not connect my email with who I was on this other site. So now I have like whatever. And then that's like, okay, you didn't connect it to, you just kind of went through the process. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be signed up for your class and spend thousands of dollars. But I don't know how I found that, and I can't find it again. And he sort of spammed the internet, so it's impossible to find any true reviews. Everything you find is written by him, or it's by paid promotion websites, which are junk. You know those things. You go to a book review website, and every review reads the same. They've just changed a few words because it's just promo stuff, you know. Um, so I was so glad to find that. And I really believe that the timing of it and everything had to be God going, okay, you're doing great, but I'm not going to let you mess up. Here's a little insight for you before you get roped in. So I think that was God. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't God looking out for me, but here I am being so frugal and so on top of things to just have this little warning go off right at that moment, saving me money and hassle and headache and embarrassment and whatever. I think that was God looking out for me. So anyways, I hope you like the story. This is what I do when I'm not doing shows. I'm working on stuff, and also, it's like the business may not start for months on end. I have a book I'd like to get out first that I wanted to get out earlier this year. I wanted to get it out last year, actually. I'd like to finish that first. I want to do a few other things. So to, be in debt thousands of dollars and I'm not quite ready to go, yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyways, let's dive into today's news. I would like to read something to you, some local news here in the state of Maine from a really great website called the Maine Wire, and it just is news on my state. But if you're here in Maine, it's just an awesome website. I just discovered it, and I just immediately subscribed to it. I'm just really, really happy. There is a link down below to this article, so you can follow along or whatever. The article came out yesterday, and by a fellow named Steve Robinson, who works for this. And yesterday is August 30th, 2023, for those watching after the fact. So the article is entitled Mills Admin Tells State Workers to Chin Up Despite Impact of Supermoon Retrograde Mercury. Let me rephrase that. So Mills is our governor, Janet Mills. I didn't vote for her. She was our lieutenant governor, one of those. I didn't like her then, and I didn't vote for her, and I didn't vote for her when she ran for re-election. So this is Janet Mills, administrator, tells state workers to chin up despite impact of retrograde Mercury. Yeah, you're confused. I can see it. So let's read this article, and I'm going to read and comment, and I'll fill in the gaps on what you need to know and to give you some context. So a top official in the Janet Mills administration, as I said, she's the governor, told state employees at the Department of Administrative and Financial Services, also known as the DAFS, yesterday, that they may be feeling a little out of sorts due to the supermoon tugging on the water in their bodies and Mercury being in retrograde. Quote, DAFS Commissioner Kirsten Figueroa, Figueroa. We're just going to say Kirsten, not Kristen, Kirsten. I can't pronounce her last name. My apologies. So DAF as Commissioner Kirsten wrote in a bizarre agency-wide email the following. Being approximately 70% water ourselves, the impact of the moon's tidal pull on us is real. With the moon being so close to us and Mercury being in retrograde, well, that's a pretty big 1-2 punch that may result in us feeling out of sorts. That's when it's good to remember how important it is to look up. The idea that the supermoon, as this says, or the travel of Mercury can physically impact the human body are commonly regurgitated pseudo-scientific claims. And let me just pause here. So this commissioner has written an email to the Department of Administrative and Financial Services employees saying to look out, Mercury's in retrograde. Now, I do believe in some astrology, but I have limits. I've seen some things which are scarily accurate, and then other things that are just like, yeah, whatever. You're just playing a game, like Dungeons and Dragons. As for Mercury retrograde, yes, Mercury does retrograde, and retrograde means moving to a different point. Mercury is recorded as moving in the Vedic astrology history, the Chinese astrology, the Western astrology. Mercury moves. All the planets do. It moves, I think, 4 times it goes through quarterly. As for pulling on our body, yeah, science has found that it doesn't. Also, science has found that it's sort of like a little bit of an optical illusion. Like we can see when this Mercury retrograde happens, we discovered like a few hundred years ago that we can actually see it, and normally we kind of can't, and it looks very different. But in reality, it's really not. It's just a matter of we can see it better. The whole concept, oh, it's in Mercury retrograde and your life is this and whatever, I think is BS. That is that is science mixed with New Age spirituality. And if you know me, I am just like no to the New Age spirituality. I've purged myself of all this stuff. I'm just like, no, I'm not interested. Doesn't do it for me. And science doesn't validate it. There is no validation that anything will happen to us on due to Mercury retrograde or supermoon or whatever. Unless we want it to and we're going neurotic and we start freaking out. But that's us. What is that, the placebo effect? That's us creating our own bad situation, our own bad vibes. If I go around yelling at someone and they yell at me back, oh, do I say it's Mercury retrograde or do I say I did that? I yelled at that person. I deserve it. That's all this is. That's all this is. That's all people are doing. It's all BS in my book. So there's none of this. So you have here a government official in this governor's administration writing an email telling people to believe in pseudo science, New Age stuff. No scientific, nothing science says that Mercury retrograde affects us. Even though we are 70% water, it doesn't affect us. The tidal pool doesn't affect us. A life doesn't go bad. Nothing happens. If it does, it's coincidence, I believe. And science is the same thing. And I've seen articles that argue this and go, oh, no, it's true, but I've never actually seen any specific examples. Oh, well, people have a tendency, whatever. No, tell me exactly what happens to you every 4 times a year. Tell me exactly what happens to you. I don't see that. Or it's just coincidence. So we have a governor pushing pseudoscience. And here's the thing, and I mentioned this hit a couple pet peeves. If this was a Christian going, well, things might be rough, but Jesus is with you. Oh my God. I'm not saying anything bad about Jesus here, but if a Christian did that, in America how Christians are treated, it would be calls for bigotry and that person should be fired. and they're horrible, and how dare they spread their hate speech, and they're, oh my God, it would just be like death to that employee who does that. I'm not joking. Or if someone said, don't worry, things are going rough. It's Allah. Allah is doing it. Everybody like, yeah, no, man, we're not Muslims. We're not Muslims. There's like 3 Muslims in the office, and we're not, America's a Christian. They wouldn't do that. Worry, Rama is with us. Jai Shri Krishna. They'd be like, yeah, you're just a burnt out hippie, or you want to be a burnt out hippie. But here, she does it, and I guarantee this person didn't blink. This woman, Kirsten, didn't blink. She thought she was doing something great, telling everyone about this non-scientific, new age spiritual bunk. No, she's not a bigot. She's being enlightened. But if she said something Christian, she'd be a bigot. And I hate this hypocrisy. I hate this. And here you have what does this have to do with anything? Why would you be emailing this to a ton of people? Why would you? What does this have to do? Why would you say this to your employees? If you're at a staff meeting, well, we'd probably be getting more business, but it's Mercury Retrograde. Oh my God. What the heck? That is just poor business. Poor business. Anyways, there's more to this picture. Let us keep going. It says the commissioner urged her employees to have a relaxing Labor Day, even as she warned that heavenly celestial bodies were conspiring against them. Labor Day also, it turns out, is coincidentally the day when the current contract for state employees will finally expire if the administration can't reach an agreement with the Maine Service Employees Association, the union that reps the state workers. So to pause here, Monday, a contract is up. Negotiations are up, or negotiations will start or whatever, but the contract is up for the people she emailed. Let's keep going. The bitter negotiations led this union earlier this year to file a complaint against the administration with the Maine State Labor Relations Board. That complaint alleged that the administration was negotiating in bad faith over pay for executive branch employees, including the rank and file workers. More recently, the administration's stingy bargaining tactics have caused the union members to contemplate going for illegal tactics to make their point. The union and the administration remain miles apart in their collective bargaining, or, to keep with the astrology theme, the union is asking for the supermoon, but the governor's team is only offering a small meteorite. So to pause, essentially on Monday, the contract runs out for the workers, and negotiations are completely collapsing. There's links in this article, and you can go and look at the big story, but it doesn't really matter right now. Essentially, negotiations were given the finger by the governor. To put it roughly, the governor just wasn't interested in negotiations and hasn't been negotiating and is just letting the contract run out and going, oh well, I've really got better things to do than negotiate the contract of the person who delivers my mail or whatever. That's what's happened. So they're not getting anywhere with the administration. And the administration responds with saying, if you're feeling down and out and worried about your contract, it's the supermoon. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's just Mercury in retrograde. There's nothing to worry about. Your job? It's just Mercury in retrograde. Your raises or your benefits? Don't worry. It's just Mercury in retrograde. The governor having given you the finger and ignored you? Oh, it's just Mercury retrograde. It's not our fault that the governor just doesn't want to deal with you, doesn't care enough about you, who was just recently in the news touting the new COVID or whatever. No, it's Mercury retrograde. Don't be so caught up in your own things. That's what the message was. I'm being totally facetious, or I'm being sarcastic, but you get it. That's what the message was. This is not an adult writing an email out to people going, we will be in touch with you, we would like to work with you, or whatever. literally just blowing these people off, saying if you're feeling bad about your job, it's a pseudo-scientific new age thing that you should believe in. Excuse me? Is this an adult who works for the state or a child? Is this the proper thing to say? Should we turn to Hollywood right now? Oh, you writers, it's just Mercury retrograde. I know you want pay for 8 weeks instead of 6, but it's just Mercury retrograde. Don't worry about it. You got a problem? Don't worry about it. Just go home and like have barbecues. Wow. It just struck me when I read this as, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? What childlike thinking is this? So we have literally a government using New Age stuff and hiding behind the excuse of some pseudoscientific hogwash instead of dealing with people's lives and their work and their whatever. While it seems to be now totally okay to spout New Age stuff in a workplace environment, which is just like not in time and place. Hmm. I don't know, but let's read a little more. It gets juicy a little bit. So Mercury in retrograde and stalled contract negotiations won't have Kirsten's household down too much. As the top appointee in her organization, this stargazing horoscope aficionado earned 180 plus thousand in 2022, according to state records. Actually, 180, 180,976 and 2 cents. And guess whose pay isn't negotiated by a union? What a coincidence. Ditto for her husband, who was able to swing a job, ironically, in the same agency his wife leads for 136 plus thousand in 2022. So we're looking at 300,000. They're not worried about anything. Mercury retrograde, I guess, doesn't touch them. You see, they're going to be fine. Doesn't touch them. It's kind of funny how Mercury retrograde works, I guess. On a related note, recent poll revealed, this was yesterday, I saw it, matter of fact, that a majority of Mainers say that they are struggling financially and are worse off than they were last year. And that is true. My parents just had their condo reassessed for the taxes, went up $1,000. Their neighbors went up even more than that. Now, my parents are retired. They're not wealthy. They're just lower middle class. They're okay, but a lot of folks are in worse situations. And $1,000, if my rent went up $1,000 tomorrow, I'd be like, oh shit, that's huge. And that's what we're facing here. It's really hard. Maine might be in the middle of nowhere. You might not even know where I am on the map. I'm up there. I'm in the corner, lobster land. But it's kind of expensive here, and it didn't used to be. 10 years ago, it wasn't. And we have homelessness and drugs, which are out of control. Hundreds and hundreds. I was at like 400 something homeless people, and I'm sure there's far more. And the drugs. We've had 6 shootings in a neighborhood in well last year we did, and there was like the year previous, it was maybe one or two. I mean, it's just been, and when I say 6 in my neighborhood, I mean like within 4 streets of my house. I almost walked in on one when I was out running one day. And it never used to be like this. And the apartments now, when I came here, I could have a one bedroom for, I could get a one bedroom for 700. I had one. Now a one bedroom will put you back 1,700. But I don't know why I'm worrying. It's just Mercury in retrograde. I don't know why I'm worrying. Anyways, the email went on from this commissioner saying, when we look up at the night sky and really concentrate on seeing what we're looking at, it is nearly impossible to ignore the vastness and to somehow be calmed by that. For me, it's impossible to contemplate Labor Day without making sure to acknowledge and recognize each one of you, your efforts, your contributions, and your part in the collective that makes Maine a better place every day. You are the moon and the stars of the state government universe, and you are celebrated. End of article. You are celebrated. You are the moon and the stars. But we're not really working with your contract to help your income. And your income might be 30,000 versus my 300,000. It might be 50,000, but it's so far below me. We're not working with you on your contract, and the governor has literally pushed you off and is ignoring you. But just contemplate the stars. Just contemplate pseudoscience, new age stuff. Um, and you'll be fine. Uh, uh, what, 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 what? I couldn't. Like I said, hiding behind religion and then pushing pseudoscience. If this was a Christian going, well, just pray to Jesus, oh, that person is a bigot. No, no, no. It's okay to spout this garbage. Well, it's not because one article, one newspaper group picked up on it, and there's actually a comment here. I'll read the comment. Um, it sounds like this commissioner is a little more than daffy. How does she know that the supermoon and the celestial heavenly bodies are conspiring against any specific group? And wouldn't that be discriminatory? Against only the employees in her department? That's interesting. Or against all state employees? Against everyone in the state, official or otherwise? Against the whole country or world? How does she know these things? How does she know that the effects of these celestial bodies on our how does she know that the effects of the celestial bodies on our bodies are negative? Oh, I guess she must be right. She's the unofficial state astrology guru, and as a shaman, she knows everything. I gotta go find a hermit on a mountaintop to consult about my biorhythms now. And people wonder why folks don't like religion and why people look down on religion. Well, because we get stuff like this. And this just pissed me off. This just totally pissed me off. It was like, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Yeah, state officials pushing pseudoscience instead of negotiating labor. Labor. Yeah, labor. Whatever. It's a real life thing. Be a part of the real world. And I guarantee this woman on Labor Day, her day off, isn't sitting on her deck going, oh, heaven. Look, you can see heaven from here. I can see Alaska too. No, she ain't. She's probably going to be whining and dining or out of town for the weekend. Or, I don't know, is the snow already up on the mountains? Maybe she's going up skiing. I don't know. But she's not going to be doing any of this contemplating the moon. I guarantee if you asked her about God, she wouldn't know a thing. I guarantee when you said, well, when did God bless you? Oh, God blesses me every day. That's probably what she would say. And they'd be like, really? Even on Mercury grade, retrograde? When he's out against all, when it's out against these other things? I don't know. This is why people don't like religion. Yeah, I don't know what to say. That's it. I just wanted to share this. This article just made me laugh. It pissed me off. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Really? You kidding me? So, I'm going to call it there. And maybe you have some comments. Like I said, I gave you today a good story and then a little bad, stupid story. Just things that make my eyes roll. So, yeah, that's a good place to end this. Hopefully, the camera hasn't glitched too much. I haven't been looking at it since I've been reading. And hopefully, it's bearable. If you do have suggestions for me, let me know. But I think, honestly, it's just my computer. Without buying a brand new computer, there just might not be anything to do, or buying a brand new camera, which I just don't have $300 to $400 for. Uh, So, yeah, that being said, thank you as always for joining me as I go here and there in the world of modern spirituality and ancient spirituality and Sanatana Dharma and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That makes the world go round. I'm going to say thank you for joining me. As always, I will catch up with you unless there's more news next week with something. Um, I hope you like this approach where I've been reading stuff and responding to it. I've really been enjoying this myself instead of just like taking something and running away with it for a while. I've liked this. It's gotten me thinking, and it's enjoyable. So I hope you like this approach. I'm going to be doing more of it, and yeah, check out my other episodes. Check out my daily show. This is on Rumble, BitChute, Anchor Podcasts, and Spotify. So check me out on those other forums. If you prefer not to be on YouTube, feel free to write me. My email's down below. So is my website if you want to support me. And yeah, like always, I wish you the best in your spirituality wherever you are. And also, act like an adult. Be mature in your spirituality. Be real in your spirituality, or actually have a real spirituality. And show the world what it means to be religious. Show the world God is blessing you. And I know people will respond kindly. Maybe not, but I hope they will. And show an opposing picture to like people like this commissioner who just whatever. It's important that we do that. Those of us who are religious, it's important that we show the real thing and a strong face. And we not I don't want to say put on a good show because I'm not here. I'm putting on a show on YouTube, but I'm not putting on a show. I'm speaking from my heart and what I feel. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Speak the truth. I didn't say your truth. I said the truth. I know I personally, I see people who do that, whatever religion they are, and I know inside I respect them, whether I agree or not. And I think others are like that too. So speak the truth. It will help all of us. We're all in this together. And I'd like to say the enemy is people like her, but she's not even worth being an enemy. You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. And I know many of you out there do speak the truth, and you do wave the banner that there is something greater than all of us out there, and it's not Mercury in retrograde. Anyways, I feel like Archie Bunker now, so I'm going to call it a night and say thank you for joining me. And I have fur on my hands. I'm sorry. When your cats they get on the furniture and then the furniture just gets worn and worn away. Anyways, ah. Thank you for joining me. As always, be well, take care. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swaminarayan. Om Bhava Svaha Tat Savita Varenyam Bhago Ji Mahidyo Yonaf Prachodaya.